Ever catch him staring across a crowded room like he's just seen a ghost? Your ghost, only to have him go completely radio silence for days, maybe even weeks? Or how about those intense, soul-bearing conversations that make you feel like you're the only two people on the planet, followed by a vanishing act that would make a magician jealous? That push-pull, that chaotic dance of come here, go away, isn't the casual brush-off you think it is. It's not indifference. It's the opposite of indifference. It's basically a flare gun of pure panic and primal recognition going off in his chest, and he has absolutely no idea how to handle the explosion. So before you write him off as just another guy who's not that into you, let's get something straight. The divine masculine experiences the activation of a twin flame connection as a profound and often terrifying disruption to his carefully constructed reality. He's not just kinda into you. He's neck deep in the twin flame undertow, fighting a current he can't see but can feel in every cell of his being. The signs aren't going to be obvious love letters or grand romantic gestures, not at first. They're going to be weird, confusing, and contradictory. They are stress signals from a soul that's being rebooted against its will. Let's unpack 7 of these dead giveaways. The screaming signs that he's in this just as deep as you are. The voltage spike. This is the initial shock to the system. It's the moment the universe plugs him directly into a high-voltage socket he didn't even know existed. Picture this. He's in the middle of a perfectly normal, mundane Tuesday. Maybe he's mid-aisle choosing between Cheerios and some generic off-brand O's, his mind on a work deadline. Suddenly, his heart slams against his ribs like a nightclub subwoofer that's been cranked to 11. His palms get slick with sweat, his pupils are blown wide, and a wave of heat rushes through his body. He feels dizzy, disoriented, like he's been zapped by an invisible energy. This isn't just a fleeting feeling. It morphs into a chronic, low-grade hum of anxiety he can't trace back to any logical source. It's the 2 a.m. insomnia with no espresso in sight. It's the sudden inability to focus during a meeting. His mind drifting off into a fog he can't explain. Guys who live and die by their color-coded calendars and 5-year plans suddenly get their internal operating system hacked by a feeling that refuses to file neatly. He might even think he's having a panic attack or a legitimate health crisis, Googling symptoms in the middle of the night. Because in his world of logic and reason, a soul connection feels like a system malfunction. When he sends that out-of-the-blue text, "Why am I wide awake, RN?" or "Had the weirdest dream about you," that's not a casual message. That's the shared soul frequency cranking up the volume in his rib cage, and he's reaching for the one person who might have the user manual. The ghost guilt loop. Now that the connection has shocked his system, his ego's defense mechanisms go into overdrive. This is where the ghosting comes in. But it's not the cold, indifferent ghosting of a casual date. It's a hot, panicked ghosting, fueled by a profound sense of inadequacy. Inside his head, a single thought is screaming on a loop. I am going to wreck this. I'm going to destroy this beautiful thing, just like I wreck everything else. His deepest fears, his oldest wounds, are triggered and rise to the surface. Old baggage. Maybe his mom walked out. Maybe an ex torched his favorite hoodie collection and his self-esteem with it. Now gets projected directly onto you, the person who represents the most significant emotional risk he's ever faced. Outside, you get one-word replies and the slow fade. He becomes a master of avoidance. This is because looking at you is like looking into a high-definition mirror that reflects all his perceived flaws. He feels seen in a way that is both exhilarating and absolutely terrifying. So, he'll try to warn you off. He'll toss off lines like, "I'm bad news, babe," or "You deserve someone so much better than me." He'll over-explain in excruciating detail why you're way out of his league. He is not fishing for praise or compliments here. This is not a game. He is handing you the raw, unedited file of his self-doubt, hoping you'll run before he has a chance to prove himself right. He's trying to sabotage the connection to protect you from the hurricane he believes he is. Live stream mirroring. This is one of the most surreal and validating signs on the journey. As you begin to do your own inner work, healing your wounds and upgrading your own energy, he starts to manifest those changes in his own life, often with an uncanny, almost comical delay. Think of it like a cosmic Bluetooth connection. Your soul is the primary device, and he is inextricably synced to it. When you upgrade your software, his system auto-syncs, whether he's consciously aware of it or not. For example, you have a major breakthrough in therapy and finally start healing a deep-seated abandonment wound. The very next day, he bails on movie night with a flimsy excuse, unconsciously creating distance because your healing has agitated that same wound within him. Or you spend an entire weekend journaling, finally forgiving yourself for a past mistake. Suddenly, at 3 a.m. on Monday morning, your phone buzzes with an essay-length apology text from him for something minor that happened months ago. He doesn't know why. He feels compelled to apologize right then. He just knows he feels a sudden, urgent need to clear the air. Watch the timing. It's your confirmation that your inner work is not just for you, it's for both of you. You clear a blockage in your energy field, and the ripple effect forces a confrontation with that same blockage in his. Cryptic smoke signals. A man who is overwhelmed by an emotion he cannot logically categorize will not communicate that emotion directly. Directness is vulnerability, and vulnerability feels like death to the unawakened masculine ego. So instead of a clear, heartfelt text, you get smoke signals. You get cryptic, indirect messages that are aimed in your general direction but are never addressed to you by name. Don't expect a lovey-dovey Instagram story with your picture in it. That's way too much exposure. Instead, keep a close eye on his digital breadcrumbs. Pay attention to that new playlist he created on Spotify called Entropy, or Afterglow. Right after you spent an hour rambling to him about chaos theory and the nature of the universe. Notice the specific, poignant lyric he posts in his Instagram story. It's from that obscure band you told him you loved. Or the out-of-character tweet that reads, "Feels like everything, tastes like nothing," posted just after a period of intense connection between you two. He's processing the same massive energetic download that you are, but he's translating it into a language that feels safer for him. Song lyrics, movie quotes, abstract thoughts. It's his soul's way of saying, "I feel it too," without his ego ever having to admit it. The tactical retreat. You've had 2 weeks of non-stop connection. Nightly calls that last until sunrise, a constant stream of texts, a feeling of being completely and utterly in sync. It feels like you're finally on solid ground. Then suddenly, a brick wall. You get a text that says, "Hey, I've got to focus on this work thing, gonna be buried for a bit." Classic. The silence that follows is deafening, and it's easy to spiral, thinking you imagined the whole thing. But this is not a full-blown disappearance. This is a tactical retreat. His nervous system, which has been flooded with the intense energy of the connection, has hit the red zone. The intimacy, the vulnerability, the sheer magnitude of what he's feeling has overloaded his circuits, and he has to pull back to recalibrate. But look closer. The door isn't slammed, locked and bolted. It's still propped open with a shoe. He'll heart your social media posts from 3 days ago. He'll watch every single one of your Instagram stories without fail. He'll text out of the blue to ask if your dentist appointment hurt, then dip back into silence. It's not game playing. It's a survival mechanism. He's trying to manage the intensity while keeping the invisible cord between you attached. The door ajar means, I'm freaking out. But please don't go anywhere. Protective mode. Gone rogue. As the connection deepens in his subconscious, a primal, instinctual drive to protect you begins to surface. He feels this overwhelming, ancient responsibility for your well-being, but he has no conscious framework to understand it. He can't say, "You are my actual soul, and the thought of anything happening to you is physically painful to me." That level of vulnerability is still offline. So that profound, spiritual love gets filtered through his masculine programming and comes out in clumsy, practical, and sometimes ridiculously over-the-top ways. Suddenly, the guy who was once fiercely independent and almost aloof is grilling your Lyft driver about seatbelts through the phone. He's texting you weather alerts like he's your own personal meteorologist. Looks like a big storm front is moving in. Make sure your windows are closed. He's asking if you've eaten, if you're getting enough sleep, if you remembered to get your oil changed. It can feel jarring, almost paternalistic. Where he was never clingy before, he's now semi-territorial in these odd, practical ways. This is not about control. This is his love language, translated into bro code. He is taking his soul-deep desire to keep you safe and expressing it in the only way he knows how, through action. Text me when you're home safe is his version of I love you. Sign number 7, the voice shift. This final sign is perhaps the most significant because it signals a conscious shift. It's the result of all the other signs doing their work, slowly dismantling his old programming. Remember when you first met him? Conversations were likely easy, but safe. Sports stats, work projects, and funny anecdotes rolled off his tongue. But the words, "I'm scared," or "I feel lost," got stuck in his throat. He was fluent in everything but the language of the soul. Fast forward a few months, past the voltage spikes and tactical retreats. One night, your phone lights up. It's a voice note from him. It's 3 whole minutes long. And in it, he's not talking about the game or his boss. He's talking about a roomy quote he saw that made him think of you. His voice is softer, the usual confident cadence replaced by a more hesitant, thoughtful tone. This is the sound of his heart beginning to speak more loudly than his head. The spiritual awakening he's been resisting is starting to integrate. It's a slow drip, not a lightning bolt. It shows up in longer messages, softer eyes when he looks at you, and random midnight questions about the afterlife or soul contracts. His shield is coming down because the connection is literally rewiring his throat chakra in real time, giving him the courage to finally voice the thoughts he was once too terrified to acknowledge. So yes, those disappearing acts, the cryptic playlists, the random weather warnings, and the sudden late-night philosophical questions, they are all love, wearing a really weird, confusing disguise. They are the chaotic, messy symptoms of a man's soul being woken up by the most powerful connection in the universe. His confusing behavior isn't a reflection of his feelings for you. It's a direct reflection of the war between his ego and his soul. The most powerful thing you can do is not to chase him or demand answers. It's to anchor so hard into your own self-love and your own truth that his chaos can't knock you off balance. Hold your frequency. Keep doing your work. And watch as the signs get louder and clearer, guiding both of you toward the reunion that you signed up for on a soul contract most therapists would definitely raise an eyebrow at. The running and chasing phase can feel like a special kind of madness. But if you want a roadmap for navigating it that doesn't involve losing your sanity, our next video is queued up and waiting for you. Go click it. And remember, your soul picked this beautiful, wild, chaotic journey for a reason. You are never, ever walking it solo.